Okay, since that rolls so well into APC, we're going to just go over really quick what is APC. And it's a sub-pattern required in web implementations. A web page can have multiple states that it possesses. Excuse me. And by using APC, we can have events that, once predefined, can affect our page's state. So basically, with this, or showing this in the diagram here, we can see that our client accesses or delegates to the controller pattern, or application controller, and this sends requests to the mapper, which further sends it to the map object. The application controller invokes the target while the mapper provides the target. And this is very complex the way they wrote it, but I think maybe I can explain it a little easier. I have over here a application that's for web pages that actually does work, and it goes to a server, and the very first thing that happens is it builds the navigation. But then the first thing that you need to know is that it basically has this action here, and depending on what this action is, because the switch case is dependent upon this action, this symbol means it's a global variable. But what this action does is, basically whatever the action is, it ends up taking it to a different case. Now these cases, all they do are pull up a view, basically. In some cases we have a little bit more complex on what they do, like they put into the global variable something, but basically what we need to know is that it puts it into this view, and then we have different views over here. And depending on the view, like we have our home page and we have our registration page, it'll go ahead and open up the home page, which we have written down here, or it'll go ahead and open like our registration page. And once it writes down our registration page, for example, in the registration here, we have the method post. Now this, once again, links our universal or our global variable back to our index PHP. So what's going on is basically here, we store some things in global variables, but then depending on which button they press, it's going to send the value register back to this post method. And if it sends the register value back, then we can see that over here it has a register case, and then it's going to go ahead and display some stuff in the registration PHP, which is a little bit different than the register one. Or no, I had a register here. But anyways, so what it's doing basically is it's continually taking variables that are not inside of it, but and passing them back to the index PHP, so the index is what's controlling it. I have that in a couple different places because you got to make multiple indexes. So for example, I have in products an index PHP, but once again it's doing the exact same thing. It has a couple different cases, and then those cases are taking that universal variable, the action one, and passing it back to, for example, the add category or whatever, and that will display the new category view. But at the same time, it's going to take that variable and pass it back, and that's where the controller is. The application controller is basically sending it to the mapper or the views, and then the actual logic for the pages are being done in the model layer. So for example, let's open up one of these and look at Acme model. You can see that it has the function, and it sends it to the database, is basically what this is doing in the SQL format, and it sends that information to our database. But we can see that this is in a completely different area. We are taking those global variables that were passed into our registration view and passing it over to the global variables inside of our database, or that we made into our database rather. So that's essentially what it is. You're passing something from one to the next. Nothing's actually maintaining full control of everything. And these pages, such as the accounts model and whatnot, the user cannot access these. The only thing that accesses these, or that rather this page accesses, is these global variables that were passed in through like the registration PHP. Or the registration view, the register view. So that's kind of the concept behind APC, is that nothing is touching anything else. Yeah, the user, or well, nothing is touching anything else. The user isn't able to touch anything. He's only able to basically pull up different views based on what the page is being sent. So yeah, I hope that clears it up a little bit for you guys. If you have any questions, just go ahead and let me know, and I'll try to explain it a little bit further. But thank you so much for your time, and you have a great day.